daily offerings of the Psalms. And
That's how Harry sells.
what?
Pictures, how Harry sells for pictures.
No, he does. Oh gosh. Every morning since after that first debate before the election, we started offering a psalm in order.
The morning after.
Yeah, it was the morning after.
I said we have to do something.
No, I said we have to do. Oh yeah, you did. It wasn't me. I think I was.
And Susie said, "Let's do the Psalms."
Right.
No, that was my idea.
No, it was my idea.
That's right.
It's okay. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It was King David's idea.
I think it was King David. And King David came to you this morning, I heard.
He did. He spoke to me.
Yeah, because this psalm, this is so perfect. I mean, every morning, though, we've had a message from King David, from the psalmist, to help us get through each and every day because, you know, some days are lighter and have more lift than others. But when some days have been really tough, I know.
Hard time, boy. It's been quite a period we've been doing this through. And we're on Psalm, 93?
93.
We're on Psalm 93.
Yeah.
That means we've done 6 a day. Well, some days we took 2 because the psalm was long.
Because the psalm was really long.
But we've been doing this 93 times, not on Shabbat, and 6 days a week since the day after that first debate.
Oh, yeah.
So it's become a real practice. A practice.
It is. It's become a spiritual practice for us, and we hope for some of you to join us in this deep dive with the help of Samson Raphael Hirsch to acknowledge his wonderful commentary.
And also that we enter an area of just beyond our comfort zone, place of real creativity, because we had no sense going in how long we would do this, what we would do really.
Yeah.
We just said, let's look at the Psalms and
A day at a time.
And let's take them in order. That's something we had never done before.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take them in order.
Yeah.
Start with number 1 and just
Right.
and see where it leads us.
Somebody ordered them.
And that's part of the practice, to be surprised.
You know, Rabbi Nachman put together a group of them for healing, but they're not in order.
No, and most of the ones that we designate for certain purposes are
Out of order.
different orders.
Right.
So we just said, let's take them, let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's been really, it's developed into a practice with a shape. So,
Yeah. And these are Shabbos, you know, this week has carried us a little bit closer.
it feels like a bonus, a reward in some
Yeah.
sense.
It does. Right. Yeah. These Psalms this week since the inauguration have been a gift of hope. Not that we don't have work to do, but just a little bit of light.
Can I start with this piece?
Yeah, because, yeah.
My teacher, merciless and correct. You can learn it real. First, slow down and listen. Find your silence. Build yourself a sanctuary from the inside out. Learn listening. It's an inside job. Start inside, you'll grow out and up later. Justice and mercy. Justice and mercy.
That's how we'll know that we're there.
Justice and mercy.
And this psalm adds one thing to that, Jimmy. It adds
That's how.
kindness.
Justice and mercy. That's how I created the world. Take up a pencil and write through. You'll be grateful one day if you find a source in your soul you can communicate with. The notes are within you. Justice and mercy. Justice and mercy. Justice and mercy. And one thing more. Look up the word palimpsest. More later. I love you. Everyone loves you. King David. Justice and mercy.
Actually, that's who that was. In my
Justice
phone.
and mercy.
In Jerusalem, there's this guy all
Justice
the time, and
and
he dresses
mercy.
in white, and he carries a harp.
And one thing more.
He tells everyone he is King David.
Justice and mercy.
And on my phone this morning came up a picture
Justice
of
and mercy.
a trip that we took a year ago last summer with some rabbis and some ministers. So it was a picture of Reverend Tracy Blackman and myself and Maharat Rory Pikernice standing with our arms around King David. Came up this morning.
Justice and mercy. Justice and mercy. One thing more.
So let's offer a Misha Berach. It's been our custom to, because these Psalms are for healing, to offer a true healing prayer, inviting everyone to shout out to the universe, the people that you know could use some healing, all the people dealing with COVID right now. So many families afraid. For our friend Sam, for Corinne and Mendel, for Louis, for Choco. There are so many people that we're holding in our hearts, the people on our healing prayer list. Know that you are in our hearts. So we offer this Misha Berach, calling on the angels, calling on our ancestors to help us heal the sick.
Refuat hanefesh u'refuat haguf. Refuat hanefesh u'refuat haguf. For the healing of the spirit, the healing of the body. For those we know, for those we don't know. On my right, the angel Michael. On my left, the angel Gabriel. In front of me, the angel Uriel. Behind me, Raphael. Above my head, above my head, above my head, Shekhinah. Michael, who is like God, Gabriel, God is my strength. Uriel, that is my light. Raphael, that is my healer. Above my head, above my head, above my head, above my head. Shekhinah, my inspiration. Shekhinah. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, great healer. Amen. The pause is right. The pause as you enter is right.
Prayer for learning. So important to do learning. Even in our learning, let it guide us.
Make the words of your teaching pleasant on our lips, on the lips of all of those that come into our screens, so we can spend our time in learning for pleasure and for its implications, for pleasure and for its implications. Ma'aseh Yadeinu, for the works of our hands. In יהיה אנחנו בצאצאינו ובצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדים תורתך לשמה. All of us learning this way for its own sake, for the purity of it, for the cleansing nature of it, and for its implications in our lives. Say your name, Baruch atah Adonai המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. Blessed are you who teaches to your people in this fashion. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Psalm 93. It's a short psalm, only 5 verses, but it reminds us how critical this notion is of not losing sight of the end goal. The end goal is the kingdom of godliness, right? This reign of this rule of justice, mercy, and kindness. It's very clear. What does it look like when we get to where we're going? We'll know, because there will be justice, mercy, and kindness. It's very clear. So it will be a time and a place where morality rules. And that's why it is that there is no greater force inspiring us, leading us, filling the spaces between us than godliness, because godliness is this moral center, this moral these moral waters that we will come to swim in. But it takes a while to get there. And so verse 1. So this godliness, Adonai, Yud-Heh Vav-Heh, right, is the essence. It is the ruling presence here, robed in majesty, robed, burdened with strength, clothed in itself, justice, mercy, kindness. Surely the world is firmly set, never to falter, right? It's firmly established. This is what is meant to be. You know, we're not quite getting it right yet. It's not. We're not in what's meant to be. So we are here to create that, to bring that about. Verse 2.
Yeah, this is a psalm that in the Talmud it says it was chanted on Friday.
On Friday, right? Just like today.
Yeah, because the next day,
right?
The Shabbat psalm was chanted.
So it was the last day of creation. It was also the psalm that was written for that last day of creation. You know, when what was meant to be was firmly established.
And the Septuagint has the epigram of that. It is for the day before the Sabbath.
Yeah, which is today.
The Greek translation.
Mm-hmm. Which is today. So your throne will be established because what comes from you, justice, mercy, kindness, is everlasting. But then we have this verse 3 that's kind of interesting. The torrents, the floods have lifted up their voices. They have raised their roar, Adonai. The torrents, the floods, have raised their thunder. The torrents, the floods, have raised their smashing roar. So that's really interesting, don't you think?
Yeah,
this verse 3.
The Hebrew is curious here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's hard.
Hirsch talks about that. What does it mean? Are the floods the powerful nations that swell with pride and destruction? Are the floods, disease? Are the floods? What are the floods? What are the floods? The torrents that have.
It's literally the rivers, and so remember. Yeah. Every translation is an act of interpretation. So it's interesting, though. It could be if you translated it as floods or rivers. The difference in nuance in that is large.
Well, because we need the rivers, but but in the ancient world, it was the rivers that flooded. I mean, we know that here, right, in the heartland. It's the rivers that flood that threaten you. It was the rivers. I mean, the flood of Noah was probably the Mesopotamian flood, right?
But if you
It was
translate
rivers.
it
It
as
was
rivers,
floods
it's
of
also
rivers.
interesting. The rivers of God, the rivers, the voices of the rivers.
In other words, you can't live without the rivers.
The rivers that fall, as well as rise, they also fall.
They do.
Because they're lifted up, these rivers. They're somehow lifted up. And
We have to respect them, though. What we think here is, why are you living in a floodplain if you know the rivers are going to flood, right?
whoa, wait a second. Okay.
Well, why don't we, if we know there's going to be a flood, why do we tempt that? Why don't we build in,
But you're assuming this is a flood, probably because of the verb, because it's lifted up. And there's a sense that if it lifts it up, it falls.
Right.
So, but the translations are always, we should always be suspicious,
Well, that's why we're looking at it. A bunch of difference, but we're looking at the Hebrew too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying it's literally it's rivers.
Yeah, well,
So
that makes sense.
I'm kind of stuck there that I don't want to wander too far from the Peshat, maybe. I don't know.
That's why you're a poet and I'm a preacher.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm not preaching it.
I know. Okay, I'm trying. Okay, verse 4.
Tamaim.
Right.
And they
breakers of the ocean grew mightier from the roar of the many waters.
Many waters.
Right? Many waters.
So here's what we can say for sure. It's water imagery. Because here you have the sea too.
Right.
And and there's something.
But the rivers go into
voices
the sea.
of the waters and the rivers and on high. They're on high and they're mighty and they're powerful and
we are water.
Strength. They have a strength.
Yeah.
And a
We
sound.
can't live with it. We can't live without it. Right. Your precepts are very trustworthy. What are your precepts? Holiness is befitting your house till the end of time, to the length of your days. Right? Your testimonies have proven infinitely faithful. The name of sanctuary, right?
Yeah, this Hebrew's hard too. Na'ava Kodesh Levetcha, your house.
Yeah, your house.
Adonai Le'orech Yamim. The end is nice. God Le'orech Yamim. Literally, the day, for long days, for length of days. Days long into the future.
Yeah, I mean, we have to hope that there are...
I think there was some, if I remember right too, there was some, in different manuscripts, there was a different way of pointing some of these words because they're difficult.
Yeah.
Like this Nava Kodesh, I think, was pointed in several different ways. Sometimes you have, anyway, there's variations in texts on these things. This is one of them, to try to make sense of this word.
I think one of the great teachings that I think has been suggested by yesterday's psalm and today's psalm is that eventually we will have a Shabbat that never ends. That notion that if we do this right, we will have a Shabbat that never ends. A time of justice, mercy, and kindness.
Yeah.
And wholeness. And rivers that behave themselves. Because we know how to honor creation.
Yeah. So yeah, it's on the 10-stringed oud.
All right, let's hear your...
Oh, long days. This is called Long Days Long.
Nice.
God has begun, clothes in majesty, girded with strength, who will not be moved. The throne firm from then to forever. Rise up, rivers of God, rivers of voices, rivers that fall, voices of mighty waters, roar of the sea, lift of the God, witnesses truthful and loyal to your house, deserving holiness, long days long. January 22nd, 2021, Teeling on the ceiling.
Yeah. So, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hope you have a Shabbat that gives you a taste of the world to come. A Shabbat that renews our souls, lifts our spirits, and lets us be part of the tikkun, the repair of the world. Maybe even just by beginning with ourselves. Sing a little Shabbat Shalom. And remember what's guiding us. Justice, mercy, and kindness.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
We'll be back on Sunday morning. Next
Shabbat
psalm.
Shalom,
These
Shabbat
psalms
Shalom.
are the first ones that really are kind of a theological, looking forward, something we need now.
Theologic?
Shabbat Shalom.
You know what Dr. P called theology, don't you?
What?
Storytelling for adults.
I love that. That's true, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we don't really have theology, do we?
We dance.
We dance. That's what it says.
Shabbat Shalom.
So, hope you have a chance to dance a little on this
Shabbat Shalom.
little taste of the world to come.
Shabbat Shalom.
A little bit of peace
Shabbat Shalom.
to renew us so that when we get back to work,
Shabbat
it's
Shalom.
with justice and mercy and kindness. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again on Sunday morning.